We also have ethnoarchaeology, and this is an ethnographic study designed to aid archaeological interpretation, such as descriptions of behavioral processes, ways in which materials enter the archaeological record. So this is where an archaeologist actually goes out and maybe hangs out with a hunting and gathering group and makes careful notes of their behaviors and what is left behind from those behaviors. So Binford went out and lived with the Nunamute for a while and studied their hunting practices and actually revolutionized an interpretation in the archaeological record. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that in class. But that way then we can see, here's this hunting behavior. Here's what happens when they butcher. This is where the remains go as they're butchering. Here's what gets hauled off to another site. And here's what gets left behind. So then if I'm an archaeologist working in a similar environment and I find that kind of pattern, I can use this model developed from ethnoarchaeology to help me interpret this past behavior. Kind of in response to processualism is post-processualism, kind of spearheaded by an archaeologist by the name of Ian Hodder, and it's almost the complete opposite of processualism. The focus is now on ideology, and the material is pretty much left out. Whereas ideology got left out before, now the whole material stuff is kind of getting left out now. Post-processualists believe you can't interpret the past in only terms of technology, ecology, and other material considerations. You have to be concerned with the role of humans in culture change. So what's the ideology behind behavioral processes? And this is what we refer to as agency theory. And why do they promote agency theory so much? Is because culture is interactive. It's created by humans. It's manipulated by humans. It's reformed by humans. So you need to try to take into account the thought processes that humans have in their daily interactions with their culture. So sometimes this is not necessarily scientific. In the past, some of the things have been untestable. Because of this criticism of being untestable, many post-processualists are working hard to develop testable hypotheses. Post-processualists say that all interpretations are equally valid regardless of the evidence, and that no hypothesis can be judged right or wrong. And they are searching for meaning of ancient cultures and their diversity. And some of their major contributions are this awareness of the people without history. So, we get to see the people that could afford to live in really big houses, and that could afford all the really rich things and so forth. But, what about the farmers and the people that lived in servitude? So post-processualism helps us think about those, or reminds us to think about the people without history, so women, ethnic minorities, commoners, and so forth. They've also been pretty instrumental in making us aware of the biases that we bring to our interpretations. So they have important contributions. Selectionism was proposed by Robert Dunnell, who actually taught out here at and this is applying the principles of biological evolution to the archaeological record. And Dunnell proposed that natural selection works on culture just as it does on the visible characteristics of human beings. And he considered culture an extension of the phenotype, and the phenotype are these, visible characteristics. So he believed natural selection could increase the availability of, or not the availability, how do I say this? He said that there were cultural traits that could increase the ability of people to survive and reproduce, and those cultural traits which allowed people to do that would be fixed within a population. So again, the principles of biological evolution right onto the archaeological record. Probably the best way to approach archaeology is to kind of do all of these at once and not just get focused on any one paradigm, but merge several of them. But that's it for this particular lecture. The next one you're going to move on to is actually doing archaeology, and I'll catch you in that one.